The notification came in at 1:48 a.m. Just a standard pickup in a quiet part of Tampa. But this was the one ride I should have canceled. The one story that never really ended. It was one of those hot, humid Florida nights. The air was so thick, you could almost drink it. A light fog was rolling in from the river, blurring the neon signs on the old diners. I was in a quiet, suburban neighborhood. The kind where every house looks the same and every lawn is perfectly manicured. The streetlights cast a soft, yellow glow on the wet pavement. It felt empty, isolated. My gut told me to just drive on, call it a night. But the app pinged again. A reminder. So primera hua aited. And then I saw her, standing at the curb under a flickering streetlight. A young woman in a wedding dress. It was partially torn at the shoulder. The white fabric stained with what looked like damp grass. Her mascara was running down her face in dark streaks. She was holding a small, old-fashioned suitcase. The kind you see in black and white movies. Her head was down, her breathing shallow and ragged. She didn't look up, not even once, as she opened the back door and slid inside. The car door closed with a soft thud, and the silence that followed was heavier than the humid night air. I put the car in drive. "Where are we headed tonight?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even. She didn't answer right away. The only sound was the faint hum of the engine and the gentle tap of a light rain beginning to fall on the windshield. Her face was lit only by the dashboard's soft glow. She stared straight ahead at nothing. Then her voice, barely a whisper. "Anywhere but the party. Just drive." "Please." So I drove into the labyrinth of Tampa's late-night streets. We moved from quiet, suburban roads to the dark, industrial zone near the port. The rain got a little heavier, the wipers swishing back and forth in a hypnotic rhythm. She never looked at me. Her eyes were fixed on her phone, but she never unlocked it. Notifications would light up the screen, illuminating her pale, tear-stained face for a fleeting moment before it went dark again. Her left hand trembled, hovering just over the latch of that little suitcase, her knuckles white. She never touched it, but her hand never moved away either. It was a silent, desperate guard duty. I tried to break the tension. "Everything okay back there?" A simple question. Her reaction was anything but simple. She flinched, pulling her shoulders in as if she were trying to disappear into the seat. Her voice was strained, tight. "Don't stop near people," she whispered. "Don't slow down." I glanced in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were wide, darting towards the windows, scanning the darkness outside. This is where I almost turned the car around. This feeling, this raw fear coming from the back seat, it was contagious. But that wasn't the strangest part. We passed a car, windows down, music blaring, a party on wheels. As the beat pulsed through our car, she curled into a ball, pressing herself against the door, her face hidden. A choked sob escaped her lips. The sound was swallowed by the rain and the road noise, but I heard it. I heard it clear as day. I kept driving, my own hands now gripping the steering wheel. Every shadow seemed to move. Every pair of headlights in my mirror felt like a threat. I was no longer just a driver. I was part of her escape, whatever she was running from. The GPS on my phone had been silent for miles. I was just following her vague directions. "Turn here. Go left." We were heading out of the city now, onto a long, dark stretch of road, flanked by cypress trees and the fog was thicker here, my high beams cutting a weak path through the mist. The rain was relentless, and that's when everything shifted. She finally looked up, her eyes meeting mine in the rearview mirror for the first time. The fear was still there, but now there was something else. A flicker of resolve. "There," she said, her voice a little stronger. "Pull over here." I looked around. There was nothing, just an old, muddy access road that disappeared into the trees. No houses, no lights, nothing. It was the kind of place you only end up in if you're lost, or if you don't want to be found. "Are you sure?" I asked. She just nodded. I pulled the car onto the soft shoulder, the tires sinking slightly into the mud. The engine idled, the wipers still fighting the rain. I realized then, She wasn't telling me everything. Not even close. She opened her door, and the interior light flickered on. She flinched again, shielding her eyes. Before she got out, she turned to me. "Thank you," she said. It was the most normal thing she'd said all night, and it sounded utterly alien. She stepped out into the rain, still clutching that small suitcase. She didn't run. She just walked, deliberately, down that dark, muddy road until the fog in the night swallowed her completely. I sat there for a long time, maybe 10 minutes, maybe more. The only sounds were my own heartbeat and the rain on the roof. I thought about calling the police, but what would I say? I dropped off a bride in the middle of nowhere because she asked me to. The fare automatically closed on the app. No destination entered. No payment details beyond the anonymous account. Just trip completed. I finally put the car in drive and pulled away, leaving that dark road behind me. I never saw her again. I never knew what was in the suitcase or who she was running from. Some nights, when the rain is falling and the roads are empty, I still see her in my rearview mirror. A ghost in a wedding dress, disappearing into the fog. If this stayed with you, share your thoughts in the comments. The night is full of stories.